Okay, so what we did was we let this run so that we can get everything out of our water filtration system. So we're going to clean this out today. And what we're going to do here is we're going to remove these 3 stages and put a little bit of bleach in there in the first stage. Take out all the filters, let it run until it all fills up, and then let it sit there for 2 or 3 hours so that the chlorine can get all throughout the different stages in the systems. Before we do that and screw these back on, we're also going to take each of these 3 housings and wash them with some mild soap. So let's get started. So we put a half a cup of Clorox in the first stage, and what I did here is I'm not ready to change the 5th stage, so I actually took the tea that was coming out of the 5th stage here, because this piece right here was actually going on here, and this feed was coming out of here and going to the faucet. So I took the tea out and I'm running to the faucet so that it's going through the system, and now it's also going to the tank. So I've just opened the tank to allow the chlorine to go through the entire system and into the tank. That's why you can hear the water running. I've already run this for a timer a little bit just to get the chlorine coming out that as well, so it's cleaning. And now I'm just waiting for it to fill up this tank. Once it's filled the tank, we'll let it sit for about 2 or 3 hours and then flush the system and put the filters back in. Okay, so the water has filled up the entire system now with the bleach inside of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to let it sit for about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours or so. Again, I am bypassing the 5th stage, and the first, second, third, and 4th stages, this one, are all empty. I've taken out all the filters. I'm letting the 4th stage sit. I took it out with a clean set of pliers where I disinfected them so that I can put them back in after we're done doing this cleaning. And then once we're done letting it sit for about 2 to 3 hours, we'll go ahead and drain it, put in all the filters again, and then fill it, drain it, fill it again, drain it again, and then fill it and be able to drink it. Okay, so we let this sit for about 2 hours now. So we're gonna run this until it empties out. I'm actually gonna give a little bit of feed water. I turned on the valve just for a little bit. You can hear it running. So once this starts to run down from the storage tank here, you'll be able to turn off the storage tank and then have it pull out the rest of the water from the system and release the pressure. Okay, so now it is pretty much done. So what we're gonna just close the valve for the storage tank. We'll release the pressure if there is any throughout the rest of it. And then we'll put this back together. So I'll take this apart here, unscrew that, put in the stage 4 membrane that I took out already, and I'm going to reuse that one. And then I'll change out each of these and put the new filters in, and of course putting the sediment filter in the first one and then the carbon filters in the second and third. And then I have to hook up my T-connector again. So as you see, the water comes in from the feed in the back, goes along through the red into stage 1, and then moves into stage 2, and then over into stage 3. After it goes through stage 3, it moves up again through here and comes down over into stage 4. It goes through stage 4 and then comes back down and over and into this T. This T would actually be connected here on stage 5, in which case it would either go up into the storage tank, or it will go through stage 5 and then into this one, which goes to the faucet. So as a quick explanation, I'll show it to you when it's all put back together like normal. So now you can see it's put back together as normal. So you can have it coming in through the red to stage 1, moves to stage 2, into stage 3, up and around over into stage 4, goes back through stage 4, comes back over here and goes into this T, where it will either go back to the storage tank through the yellow hose, and then come back, and then finally through stage 5 and up to the faucet. So as I put everything back together, I noticed that this restrictor valve, or restrictor, I guess whatever, flow restrictor, I guess is what you would call it, was leaking here on the outflow. And I tried installing it a couple times and eventually noticed when I pulled it out the last time that the piece was quite chewed up. I don't know if you can actually see it here very well, but it was pretty chewed up. So I sanitized the knife and cut it and put it back in there, and now it's working without any leaks. So anytime that you're having a leak in any of these compression valves, then definitely make sure that the tube is not all chewed up like this. Alright, so everything's back together now. We've put in the filters into each of the different stages. Now we're going to turn on the feed supply here. And you can start to hear it going through the system. It's going to go through each of the stages. We have the storage, the tank closed for right now. And then I'm also going to start the faucet to just let it run a little bit to get some of it out of here. So you can start to see the faucet now. So again, we had run the Clorox through here, so now this will give it a chance to kind of flush out a little bit. And then what we'll do is we'll let it build up and then flush the entire system and then flush it again.
Once everything's all done, now you should be able to run your water, and you're good.